No zero fee, travel no frill. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are G4, and there's Zoe, Sunny, Michael, and Karen. Today, there's a huge problem in the travel industry in Hong Kong. There's been an increase of number of complaints up to 185 recently in 2011. And also there's a tarnished reputation of the decreasing willingness to come to Hong Kong and decreased willingness to spend. Also, furthermore, in the industry, we've discovered that there's an increasing trend of the zero-fee tour, but also there are people who are thinking that this might be a decline, or is there still potential for future growth? And so it comes to our decision that to the trendy travel to understand what is it with this zero-fee tour industry? Why is it so attractive? And how does it? What is its target tourist? And how is it sustainable? And with those low service quality and those complaints, as I mentioned earlier, and how it would affect the regular tours that the trendy travel used to do and is currently doing, and also, as I said, the growth or decline. And also within trendy travel itself, it has a decline in inbound travelers, and also there's how can it formulate some counter zero fee tour strategies, and how should it position itself in the long term or short term? Should it go with zero fee or should it have its own tours? But after today, we, G4, are hopefully going to present to you how we can increase the revenue of trendy travel from 70% to 75% in the long term, and also how to position itself as a high-end travel agency with more than 90% of the positive feedback. So now let's look at how is zero-fee tour different from the package tours. Firstly, the price range is obviously much lower, more than double lower than regular package tour, and also the quality of the tour guides are actually varies, and it might be slightly lower because the commission fees is much lower than the regular tours, and also the diversity of program is very restricted, and accommodation wise it is less, not as good, but the price to the customers are very good and very reasonable. So. But how is this? How does this whole customer? What are these target customers, and why do they choose zero fee instead of the package tours? Is what we have to know today. So, firstly, the first three categories we see with we divide them in terms of the income, the expenditure they're willing to spend. So the first three are mainly targeted on mainland Chinese, and the second and the last two is Taiwan and Macau. And they mostly come here, Hong Kong, for sightseeing, which we know of, and they come to buy souvenirs, and their revisit are higher than the mainland Chinese. So why is the mainland Chinese not visiting as much as we do? So although the expenditure is high, those group of visitors usually target and buying those gold, Apple Store, luxury goods, and these can actually be achieving by IVS, which is independent visiting scheme, and individual visiting schemes, and this can be conducted later. And that's why the current behaviors is actually package tours or IVS, and later change to IVS primarily. And the middle is usually opening up, and they will buy, but however, because of what they are planning, what they targeted the goods, they can come back to Hong Kong its own and don't need these zero fee tours. And lastly, look at the low income group. They are the ones who take the largest segment, as you can see by the circled percentages. As earlier ones, there are 9.44% that those 9.44% are the percentage in the travel and the monthly travel visitors to Hong Kong inbound travels, and you can see that more than half of them are from the middle to low. However, surprisingly, their revisit opportunity and potential is very low, and also they don't spend a lot. And this will be a trend that will explain to why we tell you today that this will be a decline in the using zero fee trip in coming Hong Kong. And this is why we have to change ourselves a trendy travel and both as a trend in industry.
So, as mentioned by Zoe just now, that some people think that the zero fee tourism is becoming more popular, but some of them think that this is declining. And we would like to know that why people think that this is attractive. Actually, there are two reasons. The first one is that the price is really low. And the second one is that the content is very rich. The content is very rich. I don't know whether you have looked at the itinerary before of our Chinese, our tourists from the mainland China. The itinerary is really full. They have include a lot of famous attractions in Hong Kong, and the price that the tour guide are charging is really low, and that is why the thing that this is extremely attractive. And next, but we think that this is only sustainable in the short term, but not in the long term. In the short term, we can see that because all of us know that in China there are many people, and when more people coming to Hong Kong, and even though they are charging very low price, if there are many people coming to Hong Kong, this will be sustainable in the short term, because people come to Hong Kong in the first time. They think that this is the first trial, and they will try to spend in Hong Kong. But after that, after their first trial to come to Hong Kong, they will eventually find that, oh my God, this kind of service is actually unacceptable and will not come again. And that's why we think that the zero fee tourism is not sustainable. And next, we can see the reason that why we think that it will fail. Because according to a Taiwan research, the Taiwan study that there are 12 factors that are very important for the tourist to rank the quality of the tour. 4 of them are actually related to the tour leader's service. But all of us know that the tour service, the tour guide service of this zero fee tour is very low. As we know that the Li Chaozhen incident, that she scolded the tourists for not buying enough, so that she have to pay from her own pocket to subsidize these tourists. We all know that the tourists will not satisfy with this kind of tour guide service. And the second one is that the shopping arrangement is extremely awful, because the duration of this shopping is very long. They force them to shopping for at least 2 hours in the hope that they can purchase more, so that the tour guide do not have to pay for itself. And the second one is that the places that the tour guide brought them to do not fit their needs, because as you can see in Hong Kong, many tour guides bring the tourists to some kind of chocolate shop or some kind of watch shops that does not fit the taste of the mainlander. That is not they really want. As mentioned by Zoe just now, what they want is luxury brand or branded goods, but they are not bringing them to there. So we expect that the future trend of the zero fee tourism will decline, and 63%, as we know that 63% of our tourists are coming from mainland, but they will not try to come to Hong Kong again through this zero fee tourism, but they will come through the individual visiting scheme. And next, you may want to know that after the debut of this zero fee tour, what will happen to our regular tour? Here you can see that the supply, first of all, will decrease, because supply will think that this is a kind of substitute, and maybe we can try to provide this kind of service, so they will decrease their supply. And the second one is that the cost of organizing such regular tour will be more expensive, because when there are more zero fee tour, then the restaurant will be fully booked, or some shop will be fully booked, and therefore the cost for us to organize regular tour will be increased and the supply will be decreased. And also, for the demand will be decreased too, because the zero fee tour will definitely get some of our customer. But we believe that the market will adjust, because after their first trial, they will find that it is actually not a good experience, and so that the supply will increase, because they found that the low quality tourists will actually affect our brand image. And it can be proved by the cases of bullied tourists in the Macau. The tourists there think that they should bargain for more discount, and they are acting so bullied. And the second one is that the demand will also slightly increase because they found that the low quality one do not suit their taste, and they are finding someone with better quality. And therefore we project that the demand of a regular tour will increase afterwards.
So now let's look into the case of trendy travel. Well, we chose to use a positioning map to tell about the positioning of trendy travel, but we didn't choose a lot of travel agencies. We tend to exclude some very large travel agencies such as Wing On and Hong Tai because their sizes are quite different and their business models are not the same as trendy. After doing this positioning map, we found one very special thing. That is, trendy travel is actually focusing on the more higher price and the higher quality segments of the market. Compared to Yau Ma Tei or Panda Travel, trendy is offering a more holistic travel experience and better service. That is the reason why we can conclude that on the demographic and behavioral aspects, trendy travel tends to focus more on the middle and high income group, and it serves clients by offering better travel experiences and with its very good services. And of course, what do we do? We do think that trendy travel is going to offer very good services. That is to say, people have to pay more for that. And we believe that if we do not want to tarnish the image of trendy travel, it is a must for us to keep the service level, and the price is not have the high priority as the service quality. That means if we want to cut costs, we have to avoid those that can affect the service quality of the traveling experience. In the short run, we believe that trendy should focus on its service quality by attracting repurchases and never hold zero-fee tours because it's going to tarnish its image and it does not fulfill its offerings. For example, like the more for more strategy. And on the second aspect of the short-term strategies, we believe that trendy should continue growing in the new segments. For example, we can see a large increase in the package tour segment in the future because of the increase of tourists from IVS and the driver's traveling scheme. Because, well, the driver's traveling scheme might be have a lot of debate right now, but we believe that it's gonna be it might be implemented in the next few years. So we believe that it's the best idea is to have trendy keep track on the traveling scheme and do some trials on the package tour. For example, trendy can just offer its tourists air tickets, hotel rooms, and some optional local tourists, but not the whole touring services, so that the tourists can have more flexibility when they travel in Hong Kong.
And now it comes to the long-term positioning of the trendy travel. As you can see, that long-term positioning is quite different from short-term one, because if we want to stand out from the crowd of travel agency, we must have something special, and that is we will emphasize the luxury travel. You can see that demographically we were aimed at targeting those aging population, that is the retired people, because we believe in long term there will be a lot more retired people. You know, in Japan there will be 1 out of 4 citizens will be aged about 65, and therefore there will be a huge population, and we believe that they have the sufficient money to support the traveling to Hong Kong. Also, as you can see that they will comprise over 60 mainly by the mainland Chinese people, because the mainland Chinese people have a lot of people, and they will have a lot of retired people in the future. Also, there will be other Asians people, retired people in the coming future. And you can see that our target group will be those who had annual income over than 60,000 before their retirement, because travel is a luxury good and you need to have sufficient financial support before you can go traveling. Because our customers aim at luxury, aim at enjoyment, and therefore we will have different packages for different travelers. For those frequent travelers, that is mainly the mainland Chinese, because they have come to Hong Kong for many, many times, and we will provide a flexible package. What does a flexible package mean? We will not offer them just a very simply luxury tour. We'll offer them a package service that is very flexible. They may have a very relaxing traveling experience in Hong Kong. We may just help them to book the hotel ticket and help them to rent a car, and they can go everywhere they want, and we will help them to plan the tour, to plan a very luxury one and tailor-made for himself, unlike those zero-fee travel, because we would like to have tailor-made service and luxury service, which other large traveling agencies cannot provide them, and this is our niche selling point. And secondly, for those non-frequent travelers, that may be the first time traveler to Hong Kong, we will provide them a flexible tour, and we would assign a very experienced tour guide to help them, to guide them in Hong Kong. Because people management is what trendy travel always emphasizes on. We value people, we value good tour guide, and therefore we keep training our tour guide by ourselves instead of assigning other companies or outsourcing our tour guides. So we can assure that our tour guides are of the best quality in the city, and therefore we can offer them luxury experience. We would like to also emphasize one point is that our tour group size will not be very large, because if you want to have to take care of 30 people, it is impossible for them to have in-person care taking, and therefore we'll limit the size of our tour. This is our selling point of a very luxury tour. This is our positioning statement for the long-term positioning. To a group of retired people who love enjoyment and luxury travel, we, Trendy Travel, would like to provide you a homeland luxury travel by our excellent staff.
So, no zero-free, travel no frill. We all know that in any business, in any industry, it's important to look at what is industry looking at, what's the market needing, and what's our advantage and what are the disadvantages. At the start of the presentation of our G4 today, we tell you what is the industry going to be. Is there still going to be zero-free? No, not really. There's going to be a decline because those people mainly we're relying on, those mainland travelers, they are going to be less well equipped in income. They're not going to spend a lot. And even those who are going to spend a lot does not come to Hong Kong through us, but they come here by themselves. And even for those individual travel schemes they're proposing, this is going to be a trend, and this is going to be a fact. And how can us, as a small travel agency, can accustom to this, can make ourselves an advantage to these risks or a disadvantage in the future? This is what we propose to you today. No zero-free, travel no frill. We are not going to go with a zero-free trend that seems to be going good at the moment, but we're going to look at what is our advantage. We look at what is the disadvantage of these zero-free packs, these zero-free trips. They are low quality, they're not custom-made, and people don't like, there's no revisit. And this is what we ask for. We ask for revisit. This is why we position ourselves today as a quality, high-quality travel agency that attracts customers who are retired because of the aging population coming, and also we give them custom-made travel plans, and then we can have very flexible ones, as people nowadays are more accustomed to and more tend to be coming with their own, and they want to go to places by themselves, but they don't know about the place. They don't know which hotel to book, what plane tickets to get. And this is what Trendy Travel tell them today. This is what Trendy Travel can provide. And this is why we can position ourselves at a good place in the market, a good position that makes us ourselves providing the quality, and therefore no frills, and therefore no zero fee. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
What exactly are the customer segments for Trendy? Given it is an inbound tourist company, what exactly are the customers?
Actually, in the case it just mentioned, it's a medium medium travel agency, and it has majority income of it is come from the mainland inbound travelers, and therefore, as it does not operate zero-fee travels, and we will assume that it operates some package tour, some package tour.
Let me ask you a direct question: Is it a B2B or B2C model?
If for the customers from China to Hong Kong is a B2B because we contact the agency.
Yeah, and then later on you describe your target customers being the individuals. So are you proposing a change in the business model?
It's actually the one contact us is the agency in the mainland. And,
That's right.
But yeah, and our tour guide need to face the customers.
That's right. But then you propose that they should target the IVS or the package tours. Package tours, the IVS then becomes the B2C models. So are you saying that you're going to change the model completely from the B2B to a B2C model?
Okay, I think I understand your question now. Well, we still believe that the B2B model is still gonna be the main body for trendy travel because it's still operating well, and we expect that it's not gonna be seriously affected by the zero-fee travelers because the segmentation is different. Trendy is serving the richer people, the higher income group who look for services, while others are not. So we still think that this is going to be the main body, but we believe it's still worth a try to have those individual traveling scheme people selling them a package because you might think that the DAs, those who give us the tourists may not be satisfied because there is going to be a trend of conflict. But we think that if the tourists are going to come to Hong Kong, they will know. They will know whether they want a package or just traveling by themselves or choose a.
You mentioned one point about like the possible conflict of interest, which I don't think is the major concern.
Yeah.
The major concern is actually what do you need to change from a B2B model to a B2C model? What may be the two major expenses that you need?
Maybe we can because I guess it's maybe we have to set up some contact channels like a website. For example, we have a Travel Zen in China, which is a very big online travel agency in China. Of course, it's very difficult for us to set up our own network in a very short period of time. We have to spend a lot of capital on those site building. But what we have now is the network of customers, we think. That is the reason why we think it might be possible in the future because we have our corporate website, we assume. Yeah.
But there's also a transition, and it's what we're trying to provide a transition. Because now, as Sunny mentioned in the presentation, we're providing some package that's more custom-made. So they're trying to change, and we're giving to the agencies in China first. And then when there's building of a customer network, as Sunny just mentioned, and we do have, and we can levy on, and we can completely change into a B2C model in the future.
Well, actually, I think one area is the B2C model is actually the marketing, which I think if you are going to change, you need to
emphasize on that.
And then you come with the the analysis of like whether you justify the marketing cost or not. But that's all.
I have a question, which is really the same question, but from another dimension. It seems like you have concluded that you would be servicing tourists from China. Have you thought about the inbound traveler to China? Because, for example, I look at Exhibit B, 2B, dollar spend of the Chinese tourists is more, but not that much more than the US, the Japanese, Taiwanese, etc. And we do have the statistics showing that these overseas travelers, when they go to China, they tend to stop over in Hong Kong. Well, half of them spend for a day, but there's no reason why they cannot spend longer. There's an attractive proposition. What drives you to focus on the mainland Chinese tourists rather than these people?
Because around 90% of our revenue are actually coming from inbound travelers from the mainland China. Therefore, we think that to have a great, we should focus on this part because this part have a great impact on our company. And the other outbound service that only account for around 10% of our revenue.
So this is where we are now, and I suppose if you're looking at a big challenge to your business, like the zero fee, which basically challenges to your business existence, it's probably worth thinking about, maybe not right now, but where do we want to move? Are these overseas travel going to China something that we find as a good opportunity? Is it something that we should work towards it? Something to think about, but I see your point.
Any more questions?
Yeah, one more question. Just for this, well, you argue that the zero fee model does not, it's not sustainable. Just to, I see your arguments, but are you paying for your Facebook, and why is Facebook sustainable and this one not sustainable?
Because of the ads.
Because
of the advertisement, online advertisement.
Yeah, but what about this zero fee travel? Can that be, using the same ideas?
Well,
can that be made sustainable?
Yeah, I have to say that the cost structure of Facebook and zero fee tours is of course very different. We think that the lower priced tours can still survive in terms when we consider the cost structure of zero fee, a low price tour, because people are willing to buy stuff when they visit some places, especially in Hong Kong, which is the shopper's paradise. But we believe that if it's a zero fee tour, it's going to be very risky for tour guides and to travel agencies, and we have a lot of risk. Not really risk, but when tour guides want to make more money, they are going to force people to buy things, and this is something we cannot control. But Facebook, we cannot force them to click on the advertisements and buy stuff.
Sorry, so go ahead.
Yeah, what may be the one or two ideas from Facebook model that you can adopt to the zero fee model? If you are going to make it more sustainable.
Maybe reduce the number of parties inside the model, because for the Facebook it is the advertiser, the Facebook, and we customer. But however, in this zero fee model, there are more parties involved, and therefore there are many outsourcing one, and therefore this will make everyone is trying to catch more profit, and therefore leave little for the artists, and therefore this makes this model very not sustainable.
Thank you to Chinese University of Hong Kong.
Thank you.